I know you guys have been waiting for this moment where I was going to call on for volunteers, right? Is this thing working? Okay. Who wants to be a volunteer? Who wants to sharpen their skills today? All right, seriously, can you guys hear me? Don't make me beg.
Sorry, Bill, I'm trying to get my son settled, but I'm listening. I'll be right there.
Okay. Should I start calling on people?
I'd be happy to participate if no one else will.
Dual career. Yep, I get you. Okay. Let's talk for a second about who wants to, or what topic you want to role play on, and who wants to volunteer, and we'll get right into it. I'm feeling extra nice today, so I'll be not critical at all. That change anybody's mind, Tracy? How about you? How you participate in here is how you participate out there. Can't hear you. You're on mute.
Okay, I was getting ready to get in the car, but okay. So I'm ready.
So, okay, beautiful. So what topic do you want to review today?
I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Legion, some type of legion. Or
well, exactly. But who are you trying to call today? Let's work through what those phone calls might sound like.
Okay. Just a care call.
A care call?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you prepared to be the agent and I'll be the buyer? Or
Not really, but if I have to be the agent, let's go for it.
Well, if
I'll
we
be
do
the
it
agent
today, then you'll feel a little bit more comfortable and you'll be more prepared and more eager to make the phone calls today, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Who wants to be the friend or the?
Well, actually, I'm on my way to. I'm getting ready to leave for Ignite. So we are. Let's see. Let's see what call.
You're not a very good volunteer for today.
No, but I'm ready. Let's go.
Well, I don't want you to be late to Ignite. You got to get in the
Right.
car,
I don't want to. I'm afraid of
let me get another volunteer. Who wants to be Ebony? You want to work on anything? Jaleesa, Jenny, Lorinda.
I would like to listen in on a FISBO call.
Say that one more time.
I actually don't want to role play it, but I would like to listen in on a FISBO call.
Come on now. You don't think I'm going to let that happen, do you?
All right.
Which one do you want to be? You want to be the FISBO or you want to be the agent?
I'll be the FISBO.
Oh, I was thinking you were going to be the agent.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. All right, let's do it.
All right, beautiful. I'm the FISBO. So I have been on the market for 3 weeks, and I have not been successful thus far. And you have used the software that costs $350 per month to get my contact information that we actually provide for you for free, Vulcan 7. And so you are going to call me and you're going to address it just like you do. There's, lots of different approaches, and I'm excited to hear yours. They are pre-approved for it. Okay. Heather, you're gonna be the next one, okay? Okay. Go ahead.
Ring ring.
Hello.
Hello, Bill. This is Jaleesa Holland calling from Keller Williams. How are you this morning?
I'm good. Are you? Yeah. Yes, you're like the 15th call today.
Oh, I'm happy to hear that. I'm actually just calling about your listing that I came across on a platform. Your listing was your FISBO, and you haven't sold in about 3 weeks. Do you have any idea why your property hasn't sold yet?
No, not really. Is that something you can help me with?
Possibly. Would you be open to letting me come by and set an appointment for me to see your property?
No, can you just give me some advice on the phone?
Well, you should, I mean, I can give you advice, but it'll be, okay, so I'm a little stuck right now.
This is practice, so don't worry. Just think of something else to say and we'll critique you on it.
Okay.
So give me some advice over the phone, Jaleesa. Like, you're a real estate agent, right?
Yeah, have you done any comps? Like, do you think your house is listed at the perfect price to sell?
Yeah. There's a neighbor that sold for, around 350. That's what I'm listed at. So I think I'm probably about right.
Okay. You've had no professional help at all?
I like that question. My cousin is a real estate agent in Los Angeles, and they're kind of helping me a little bit.
Okay. What I can do is I could possibly run some comps for you. Okay. I can run some comps for you, but I would need to be, under contract or at least on some type of paperwork stating that I'll be your listing agent.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to sign any paperwork until I know what your number is.
Okay. Well, that's why I would need to come in and see the property, so that way I can see if you had any updates done to your property, or if it's really listed at the perfect price to sell.
Okay. Do you want to do is when do you want to meet?
I'm actually available tomorrow at 1 or Saturday at 2.
How about Saturday?
Okay. Okay, Saturday at 2 will work for me. I'll give you a call prior to remind you, and I'll see you then.
Okay. All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Good job. Good job. All right. I'm gonna be a gentle 10. Okay.
Okay, give
You
it
ready?
to me, Ross. Okay.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for stepping up and volunteering. My hunch is that you're not looking at the FSBO script, right?
No, I'm not.
Okay. So, I appreciate you volunteering when you were not prepared, so to speak. This is I'm going to use this situation as a encouragement. This is the exact reason that we have a workspace. I know this sounds crazy, and I know you're like, why are you keep talking about this? But if you're sitting at your workspace and you're ready for the day to start, then you just reach out and grab your FSBO script, because that's something you do. And at 2 seconds notice, you're ready to go with great questions, right?
Exactly. Yes, that's why I said I would like to listen in, because I'm driving, so I'm like, I wasn't prepared at all. But it still helps.
I know. Hey, you're more courageous than the others, so I'm grateful for you. We're all learning together. Okay.
Okay.
So the first thing I would say is there's some kind of you used several phrases that were kind of like realtor jargon, so to speak. Like FSBO, they may not know what a FSBO is.
Oh yeah, they don't know. Right.
Comps, running comps, like running comps is like a little bit of a casual way of saying what you're trying to say. I would encourage you to rephrase that.
Okay.
You referred to their home as a listing when technically it's not a listing, right?
Okay. Yeah, because it's still by owner.
Some powerful, like you said, would you be open to a meeting? So the only reason why you said that is because I kind of insinuated that I might be open to a meeting and that I had some questions. So don't be so soft when you ask for the meeting, would you be open to a meeting? That leaves way too much openness for the person to say, nah, I'm kind of busy right now. No, I don't want
Okay.
to meet with any more realtors. Right? Say, wow, sounds like we should meet. When are you next available? Right. Be more aggressive on that. Okay. You had a great opportunity. Like you said something like, did you get any professional help on establishing the price or something like that? Or have you run comps? I'm covering a lot of bases here, and again, I appreciate you volunteering, but people want to be right and look good. And if you insinuate, did you run comps? That's kind of insinuating that they didn't run comps. And I think that's a bad assumption, meaning they did some analysis to come up with their number. So rather than asking if they did that, ask them how they came to that number. So do you mind me asking how you determine the price of your property?
Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense.
Right. And that way they would say, oh, my neighbor priced it, or my friend in California priced it. And then all of a sudden, that there's more detail to be examined. Or they'll say something like, I spent 6 hours calculating price per square foot, and I upgraded 15 cents per knob, and you can kind of get a feeling for what type of person they are, personality profile wise, when you ask an open-ended question like that, because they'll tell you how their brain processed that number. So you're insinuating that they have done a lot of research. You're just asking them what that process looked like, so that you can have in your back pocket kind of another angle, to another perspective to look at it under. Do y'all agree with that thought?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. Obviously lots of ums and that kind of stuff. That just comes with more practice.
Right.
And then if I was you in that situation, I would have, as soon as you agreed on the appointment, I would have then reached up on my workspace and I would have grabbed out my seller pre-qualification questions. And I would have said, do you have just a couple of moments extra? I'd like to ask you a few extra questions so that I can be more prepared for a meeting on Saturday.
Right.
Makes sense? Because what you said, I'll call you back to confirm, which is great. But then you're hoping that you get the guy back on the phone. Then you're hoping that he remembers who you are. Then you're hoping that somebody else, isn't more aggressive that calls after you. They're just leaving a lot up to chance. Make sense?
Yes, lots of sense.
Okay. Anyone else want to share an observation?
I'll share, Bill.
Okay.
I guess one thing that I could think of is just to create conversation maybe the other agents haven't asked about was what's the motivation to sell. And then that way you can maybe kind of switch gears to try to help with the urgency, especially with it being on the market for so long. And just have them talk about their self and why they're trying to sell it themselves, so that you won't have to talk as much and can just chime in and agree to get the appointment to be different from the other agents.
Yeah, great point. Great point.
Yeah.
And doing that as early on in the conversation as possible, right? Because you just went right into why isn't your home sold or something like that, which can be a bit abrasive, right? So I love those questions at the beginning. I mean, the script says that basically, tell me, where do you plan on moving when your home sells, or tell me a little bit about the experience of listing the home. How many offers have you gotten? How many showings have you had? Are you getting hounded by real estate agents? These kind of questions. Great job, Markia. What else?
Thank you.
I agree with that as well. I think that if even it's only one thing that you have that you stick with, that you can provide value, like even if you were to start the conversation, asking, how much activity, not saying it like that, like, well, how many, people have come to your home, and you stick on the lines of like, well, the way that you can provide value is with the super lockbox, not saying that, but you're sticking to one thing, like, okay, well, when you have a realtor, everyone who comes in your home is monitored. So if whatever we do in real estate, choose one thing, perfect it, and use that and keep going with everybody. So whereas that just becomes so common, I hope I'm saying that right, to whereas it's just like whatever, the same way that I'm talking now, it's just like water coming out your mouth. So choose one thing, stick with it, and just go with it. And you're just showing that value. And maybe that's another way that you can differentiate yourself from another agent.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. I think you're en route to the idea of creating doubt for them, right? So you might say, how are you choosing to screen all the people that you agree to meet with at your home? And that insinuates that they should be screened. And it most likely insinuates or reminds them that they're not screening these people, right? So what is your process for determining if the people you're showing the home to are qualified? Right.
Exactly.
Or, do you have your disclosure statements prepared and ready to distribute to prospects? And they might say, well, what disclosure statements? Oh my gosh, you're trying to sell the home with no disclosure statements? It sounds like we should meet. When are you available? But remember, the purpose of the phone call is to get the appointment. You don't need to sell yourself. You don't need to open up your whole resume on the telephone. Find a need, jump on it, book the appointment, and then do all that stuff when you're there. Make sense?
I got a question, Bill.
Yeah.
When you ask, can I give you some tips or something like that? What should I have said?
Great question. Do you have what specific tips might you be referring to? Or are you looking for marketing tips? Are you looking for safety tips? Are you looking for contract tips? Are you looking for a vendor referral? You looking for social media tips? Tell me a little bit specifically about what you're struggling with. Okay. Right? Okay, so what I just said was really, there's a lot in there. Okay. I insinuated, number one, that there's a lot of things that they should want tips on. Right?
Yes.
And I also insinuated that where was I going with that? Like, I'm not going to give any advice for free, but I would ask them specifically about, what are you struggling with that you need advice on, or that you'd like a tip on? Oh, that's what it is. So like, if I say, what part of the process are you struggling with that you'd like some advice on? And that's a language skill. I'm trying to remember the exact phrase for it, but they didn't tell me they were struggling with something. I told them they were struggling with something.
Right.
Y'all see that nuance? So I created a reality that may or may not even be a reality, so that they can hear, and subconsciously they're like, I am struggling. You follow what I did? So
Yes,
they answered, and now they're thinking they're struggling. Okay. So then they say, well, I'd like some social media tips. Well, tell me a little bit about your social media strategy thus far. Right. And they say, oh, well, I posted it to my friends. Okay. So how many offers did you get for that? How many showings did that get you? Right. You say, are you using pay-per-click? Are you using Facebook ads? Are you using Instagram ads? What kind of activity have you got on that front? Oh, well, I'm not doing that. Wow, sounds like we should meet.
So basically, I'll get more specific, or ask them to be more specific on the tips that they're looking for.
That's the takeaway with the second thing you said, which is ask them to get more specific.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
And you also referred something like, you'd have to be my listing agent for me to do that. That's not necessary. Say, it sounds like we should meet. We can talk. And it sounds like there's a few phases of the transaction in the process you might be struggling with. I'd love to meet with you and explain my process. and how I help my clients get their home sold for the most amount of money. When would you like to
Okay.
meet? You see what I'm
Okay,
saying?
got it. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, anyone else want to give any recommendations or anything that they heard that they have a question about or want to go into some detail about? Candace, anything you caught?
Bill, I think you did a really good job with kind of being realistic within the conversation, opening up with, okay, you're like the 15th agent that's called, to kind of change the mindset and the objection handling that an agent can automatically know where to go with the conversation. And I think that's one thing that maybe kind of threw her off a little bit, was when you said, okay, you're like the 15th person to call. And it's like, oh wait, okay, what do I say? So I think it was good practice.
Okay, well, that's actually something we haven't discussed. So let's talk about that for 1 second.
And I
Markia,
And I just want to say, I like that you didn't apologize. I was waiting for you to say, oh, I'm sorry, but you didn't do that. And I'm glad you didn't do that, Jaleesa.
Right. It was real.
great point. That's not your problem. It's not your fault.
All right,
I
thank you.
So what would you say if I said, gosh, you're like the 15th person to call me today? What would
Bill,
be a
I
good
always liked your 15. There's thousands of us in Atlanta. Only
Oh, that's
15.
good.
I'm glad I called you now.
Exactly. That's probably my go-to on that. It's 15. That's it? There's 40,000 agents in Metro Atlanta, and only 15 of them are doing their job today. That's shocking.
I like that one because I feel like it kind of breaks the ice a little bit and introduces a little humor to the conversation.
Exactly. Lorinda, what were you saying?
And she said it, I thought she handled it really well. I would have said something similar to, wow, 15? Well, 16 is the charm.
To be honest, it sounded like she was a little, I didn't hear her response that well. And then she went right, it's almost like she just didn't acknowledge it from my ear. But what exactly did you say, Jaleesa?
What I said, I'm happy to hear that.
Right.
I
So
think I said
that's
something
not,
like that.
it's not overwhelmingly powerful.
No.
But that's why we're having these conversations, guys. I told you guys a long time ago, and hopefully you're starting to realize this. Learning how to sell real estate, you can learn how to sell the home itself in like a couple of hours. Everything else is psychology. Does that make sense? Everything. It's human interaction, it's creating doubt, it's being assertive in certain situations, it's identifying people's personality profiles and how to build rapport with them. It's got very
I
little
need to
do
work
with-
on that, being able to identify the personalities.
Right. Well, I didn't give you a whole lot. Well, you didn't ask a whole lot of questions to help identify it, and I didn't.
Right, but just
volunteer a lot of-
overall, not even on this call, just overall, I've been struggling with that lately.
Well, that comes with open-ended questions. Tell me
Okay.
a little bit about your house. You know, what is the primary reason that you think your home hasn't sold yet? Ooh, that's a good one.
Right.
Right. And they say, oh, well, you know, the driveway is really cracked and I don't have enough money to fix it or something like that. Okay. So briefly tell me about your house. Right. And they're like, it's a 3-2 on a basement. Okay, you got a high D. Right.
Okay.
Okay, well, we get 4 bedrooms. The first one is 11.5 by 12.5, and the window is on the northeast corner. And then, you know, we picked that medium stain on the hardwood. Like, I think it's called like so-and-so by so-and-so. Okay, you got a high S there and probably a high I.
Yeah.
Right. So depending on how they respond to certain things, you can tell how they want to be communicated with. It's kind of like if you go into somebody's house and it's a freaking pigsty, right? You might, that type of person is generally needs to be, I don't want to say dealt with, but like interacted with differently than if you walk into somebody's house and like everything is perfectly organized and the countertops are wiped down and the closets are like, you know, white, off-white, light gray, darker gray, dark gray, black, you know what I'm saying? Like that person wants to see some graphs. You better bust out some statistics with that type of person, right? If they got like
right.
diplomas and plaques and hole-in-one trophies and all this kind of stuff around the house, give them a compliment, okay? They want to be acknowledged. They want to be celebrated. That's why they got that stuff on the wall.
Okay.
Does that make sense? I'm not,
Yes, that
I'm
makes
not making judgment on those people. I'm just telling you how to deal with them.
right. And you got to know how to deal with them. It's important.
Well, I mean, only if you want to be successful.
Yeah, definitely. That's the goal.
You don't have to do anything. This is all designed to help you win. Make sense?
Yes.
Candace, what were you going to say a second ago?
No, I was good. I was good. I wasn't saying anything. I'm just listening in.
Okay. Any comments or feedback or suggestions on Jaleesa's conversation?
I'll hold back, y'all. I need to hear it all.
Candace, anything you want to add?
Yeah, just practice, and that's why partners, because
You're in a bad spot. Y'all notice what I just did with Candace? I wanted some feedback from her. I asked her one question, she didn't give me any feedback, so I asked the same question again, or slightly reworded, and then she answered me. You see that?
is this better? Can you hear me now?
It's much better. Okay,
What I was-
say what you were gonna say.
And I love that. What I was going to say is, and this is why it's so important to have script role play partners, and why we get to do this practice on Thursday mornings, because the more you do this, it won't be a big deal when you call people. Whatever they say, you'll be better prepared to ask what you need to ask, find out what you need to find out. And so the practice is key, because it doesn't come naturally. I mean, it doesn't come naturally to walk up to somebody and say, I want to help you sell your home that you're trying to sell by yourself. So it's important to practice. That's all I have to say.
It's kind of like you know, there were many times in as team leader when I was doing a lot of recruiting, and I'd ask a tough question, and these are sometimes questions that like really go to like the heart and soul of the person, right? And oftentimes their friends, their spouse, no one's ever asked them these kind of deep questions before. And so they'll say something like, well, I haven't really thought about that. I said, well, if you were to think, well, I didn't get the answer I wanted, right? So I need to ask again. So if you were to think about it, what do you think it would be? Right? If you were to take a couple minutes to think about it, what subconsciously that does is it gets the person to speak. It gets them to open up.
Yeah, get something to think.
Right. And the second they become vulnerable with you, the rapport is totally different. Totally different. Totally different. I mean, there's probably 15 agents at least in Roswell that I have sat with and they have cried with me. Right? Like they're not going anywhere. They're loyal. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Heather, let me go back and look at your notes and we'll see if we can do that one. I have a buyer consult tonight, so I'd love to listen to anything current regarding trends. Pre-tree at 350, and I've been looking on the unsubmitted offers without luck. Okay, beautiful. And how did you get introduced to them? Heather? All right, let's talk just generally about, she's saying something, referral. Okay, so couple quick comments. Number one is, I know you know this, you've heard me say it 1,000 times, but just for the others, we want to have a reward system for referrals. Okay, the moment you get a referral, I want you to stop everything you're doing and go thank the referral source. Call them, send them a video text, send them some cookies, make them feel like $1 million. Okay, that's the only thing they can control, is whether they make the introduction or not. They can't control whether the person's well qualified. They can't control the marketplace. They can't control whether you're skilled enough to close the deal. They can't control whether you ultimately get paid. Reward them for what they can control, which is the introduction. Okay. So the first thing I would do, I'm assuming you've done some pre-qualification questions with the buyer, like the stuff that pops up on a buyer intake page, right? Things like, how long have you been looking? Tell me about the property you're looking for. Have you visited with the lender? What is your budget? What part of town do you want to be in? What's important to you about that part of town, right? Where do you work? I'd like to know what they do for a living. So, for example, if they're a attorney, that's like the kind of person that's generally going to have their clothes organized from, by color. If they're a photographer, they tend to be more high I, high S, etc. Makes sense? I might want to present them a bit differently. So I guess the first question I'd ask is, tell me a little bit about your experience so far, right? And they'll say, oh, well, we've visited with a couple of houses, we've gone to some open houses, we've submitted an offer or two, yada, yada. And then I would investigate that a little bit. I'd say, so did you go to these properties as open houses, or were you previously working with a real estate agent? And they'd answer those questions. And then you'd say, so tell me about the offer. Did a real estate agent help you with that? Or did you do that on your own? Tell me more about that process. Basically, what I want them to be saying is, we haven't been successful either by ourselves or with a different agent, and therefore we need somebody who can get the job done, right? So obviously, just like you would in any circumstance, you share with that prospect why you are the one that can get it done, which includes the mission of your organization, right? I work every day to help my neighbors build wealthy real estate, right? It's a huge priority of mine to make sure that there's a lot of information out there and a lot of misinformation out there, and I want to make sure the people that I have the honor of working with are able to understand all of the choices they have, so that they can be protected and feel safe in the process. Is that something that sounds appealing to you? Right? So you're basically trying to get them to complain about something that's not working for them, right? Like getting into properties quickly or being able to write the offer and these kind of things, right? I'd also like to know things like, I'm basically just going through the buyer intake page, but I'm asking things like, so tell me a little bit about positive experiences you've had with a real estate agent in the past, right? Tell me a little bit about negative experiences you've had with a real estate agent in the past, right? What are you looking for in a real estate agent before you agree to work with one exclusively, right? Well, I'm looking for one that will, send me 15 listings a day and be available at 3 in the morning because that's when I get off work, and I want to look at 4 properties every single day. Okay, well, it doesn't sound like we're going to be a great fit. Let me see if I can find somebody in the office to refer you to, right? Or they might say, just do blah 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 blah, and it sounds reasonable. It's just great. I think we'll love working together, right? So tell me a little bit about what you're looking for. Oh, we want a 4-bedroom home. It needs to be in a cul-de-sac, and I want a fenced backyard. Great. Tell me what is significant about a cul-de-sac and a fenced backyard for you, right? Oh, we have 4 kids and 6 dogs, and I grew up in a cul-de-sac, and I really just want to live in a cul-de-sac. Great. What else is important to you in a home? Why is that important to you, etc.? Okay, getting some questions here. Everyone following me so far?
Yes.
Okay, what did you say,
Yeah,
Heather?
Bill, I was going to say, I was actually on a phone call exactly like this the other day. It was a referral from my buddy in New York, and I just kind of let the guy talk, and, asked him what he was looking for. And he kind of came to me that he had actually been working with a agent down here. And I just kind of told him, tell me a little more about your experience. And, he kind of just let me know, and we chatted. It got a little, personal once he started telling me his motivation to move. And you know, by the end of the phone call, I had a new client.
That's right. You might also insinuate, like, you know, is there something that has happened or not happened that you wish had happened differently? And is that the reason why you haven't committed to that other agent? Right. And they'll say, yeah, he never answers his phone when I call. Wow, that's one of the things I really, you know, pride myself on. You better answer the phone. But
I had also done like a quick preliminary search just on the area and like the style home that the guy wanted. And there was literally 2 homes on the market. So I said to him, you know, like I did a quick search and, you know, I'll be honest, there's only 2 homes that meet what you want right now. I said, but that doesn't mean that there's not for sale by owners, and we can call the neighborhood and we can door knock. And I just kind of rattled off like 3 or 4 real quick ideas of other ways we can find houses. And he was like, yes, I already love everything you're saying. And it was very clear the other agent never said anything like this.
That's exactly right. Your business is about differentiation, right? It's what do you do differently? What's so special about you, Melissa? I could go hire Lorinda. Like, I'm not trying to pit the 2 of you against each other. I'm just telling you that you better stand out quickly or they're going to go pick somebody different. So if you're asking questions like, you know, why is it important to you that you live in Smyrna? Oh, well, in Smyrna, they have this special, teaching system for my kid who has autism or something. Wonderful. That's a big deal, right? Wow, that's how lucky are we that we have a school that is well suited for your child? That means a lot to me, right? I'm excited to work with you. You follow? Okay, you asked about trends with offers. So Raven sent out the chart masters, the MMO, yesterday or 2 days ago. I haven't decided which day we're going to do it next week, but we will do. Oh, by the way, we'll be off on Monday, just before I forget. So no events or coaching calls or anything like that on Monday for MLK Day. But one day next week, we're going to do chart masters. Okay, so this is where you can pull out the chart masters data and say, you know, this is the percentage of homes that are selling at or above list price in your price range, right? Or this is the number of days on the market that we typically see in our area, right? Or if the home has been on the market for more than 8 days, there's a good chance that it is overpriced, right? 71% or whatever the number is now of property that or homes that are selling at list price or above list price. So I just want to be clear with you. It is an incredibly strong seller's market right now. And during this process, you are not going to feel like you're winning every single discussion. In fact, you're probably going to feel pressured to make certain decisions, and you might have to sacrifice on, you know, things like home buyer's warranty and, you know, have to deal with faster turn times and faster contingency periods and that kind of stuff so that we can be competitive. I'm not asking you to take any risks that I wouldn't take myself. I just want to prepare you for what this is going to be like. Now, remember, I'm going to be holding your hand the whole time, right? And if you're asked to do something, we'll discuss the pros of making that choice and the cons of making that choice. Does that sound fair? Yes, wonderful. See what I'm saying? So I would also, the 2 other big things that I think are important in buyer consultations. Number 1 is, if you haven't already shared this with them, you want to let them know that you are able to help them. I know this sounds super elementary, but the masses don't really understand this. Want to let you know that any property that is on the market is one I can help you pursue. It doesn't make a difference whether you found it online or you found it driving around, or it was on some app, or it's on Zillow, or it's on my web page. Makes no difference. It doesn't matter who the listing agent is or who the listing broker is. If you find something you want to know about and see, just send it to me and we'll go out there together and see it. Okay. That includes new construction, for sale by owners, expired listings, foreclosures, wherever you see it, it's a home I can help you pursue, and I'll get you all the information immediately. Make sense? The other great part about working with me as a buyer's agent is that the seller is ultimately going to pay the commission, which means that working with a professional like myself is of no charge to you. See what I did there? like myself. It's like myself, like myself. See that? It's almost like when you put your hand here, you sound differently. Follow that? So any property that you find is a home that I can help you pursue. Okay. And because I'll ultimately be compensated by the owner of whatever home you choose, I'm able to play much more of a consultant role rather than a salesman role. Meaning, if we go into a property and I see that it's, synthetic stucco, or I see termite damage, or I see, Georgia Pacific siding, or I see, cooling water and these kind of things, I can point it out to you, right? Because if it's not, I don't want you to buy a home that doesn't make sense for you to buy, or that's in condition that you're unaware of, right? I want you to buy the best home in the world for you today. Make sense? So you've let them know that any place they see, you can help them pursue. You've let them know that you're basically free. Okay. And you've let them know that you're going to walk through them and protect them and ask them lots of questions, etc. I also might say something to the effect of, the average buyer that I work with looks at 6 to 8 homes before they buy one. How do you feel about that? Now, somebody might say, well, gosh, 6 to 8, that sounds like plenty. Now, you're my kind of guy, right? But you also might have somebody that says 6 to 8. I was thinking 6 to 8 Monday, 6 to 8 more on Tuesday, 6 to 8 more on Wednesday. And then my aunt from Chattanooga is going to come in and want to look at all those again. Okay, you have to decide, is that a client you want to do business with? See what I'm saying? John Prescott, who's on KW Master Faculty, he was my bold instructor like 9 years ago. We spent this past Thursday and Friday together, and brilliant guy. I mean, just brilliant. He used to run bold for the KWRI and all that. And he said, and I never believed him at the beginning, but he was absolutely right. He says, if you show more than 5 pieces of property to your buyer, one of 2 things is happening. Either you don't know the market well enough, or you have not asked enough questions. Does that make sense? Does that sound insane to you? Or do you see that
Makes
that's
a lot of sense.
potentially the what?
I said it makes a lot of sense. I've heard that a few times before.
Okay. Because I don't want to take somebody to a home, like if they want a 1-story family room and why do I need to take them to a home with a 2-story family room? It doesn't make any sense, right? If they want a home with a master on the main, and then a home without a master on the main pops up and it seems to be a good price, they're like, oh, I want to see it. Say, let's just assume it was pretty, right? You walked in, there wasn't any glaring problems. It doesn't have a master on the main. Are you going to move forward with this home? Well, no. Okay, then we're all wasting time. Right? Part of my job is to help save you time. If you're not interested in purchasing a home for whatever reason, it makes no sense to see it, right? You've got to take control. Otherwise, you'll be spending your whole Saturday showing homes to people that can't buy them and don't even want them. All right, what's the biggest takeaway today?
Practice and consistency.
Practice, practice, practice.
Lorinda, what did you say?
Same thing. I said practice and consistency.
That's right. That's right. So what I just said, if you have to show more than 5 homes to somebody, you might not know the market well enough. So as part of your 2022 plan, what do you got in there to learn the market? Are there, let's say you want to work in, let's say Dunwoody, or you want to work in Woodstock, or you want to work in Duluth or something like that. Okay, well, how well do you know those areas? If I were to say, hey, get me to Woodstock Elementary School. And you're like, well, I don't really know where that is. Well, would you expect your real estate agent to know where the schools are? I think I would, right? So how committed are you to becoming 1% better every single day? That's what that means, right? Is learning the marketplace, learning the industry, all that. Make sense? I mean, guys, I saw a video the other day where this is in California, where in Silicon Valley, where they basically they have a robot at the front door of a home. And the way that they do the showings now is they pre-program the showing experience through the robot. So the candidate walks in the door, or the buyer prospect walks in the door. The robot is right there to greet them. They have all the speech and all that kind of stuff already figured out. They have all the handouts and printouts and all that available. And then the robot walks them around the home. And then if the buyer has a question, they just push a button and they have like a kind of an agent on duty, so to speak, at the office that can pop in and everyone's on camera. And they say, so tell me a little bit about this, water heater. And maybe the robot doesn't know how to react to that. So they push the button and the agent's like, oh, well, according to seller's disclosure statement, which the robot's handing you at the moment, it's 17 years old. And according to Google, the average lifespan is 15 to 20 years. Just so you know, the average water heater is $1,200 to repair. Click here to buy one. You see what I'm saying? I mean, like, guys, we are in the 4th industrial revolution. You better be good. Does that make sense?
It does, but
Yes,
I mean,
it
like personal, I don't know. I have like weird feelings about that, but yeah, I understand. It's kind of like a CD. Like I still like a CD or like a book. Like, like I would feel super uncomfortable if I walked in a house and saw a robot. But yeah, I get it.
I remember buying a car about 7 or 8 years ago, and no, a little longer than that. And I happened to be talking to my mom that day, and I was telling her what I was doing. I was like, oh, I'm meeting this person to look at their car. Mom was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh, I found a car for sale on the internet. She's like, you can do that? Like you feel safe doing that? Like times are changing, guys. Like Melissa, you're not alone. There's plenty of people who want a different type of experience, but we've also seen, if anything, from the iBuyer world, that people are willing to sacrifice a insane amount of money for convenience.
Yeah. I mean, even in, like you said, car buying, like Carvana, CarMax, like you can literally just go on an app and click and buy a car.
That's right. And so if you're a car salesman,
right,
their money on selling of cars, and you make whatever $1,000, $2,000 each one. How do you need to position yourself to get in front of that consumer and help them make a more calculated decision when they are buying a car? And there's some people that will pay for that service, just like there are some people that will pay you for your full service. And there are other people who will say, it sounds expensive and time consuming for me. I think I'll just hit this button instead. Right? So are you positioning yourself to service prospects and clients with different needs, with different tech needs, with different communication needs, with different financial situations? Does that make sense? I'm just giving you some ideas on how to run a business here. I know it sounds overwhelming, but you just got to do one thing at a time.
I have a question. Like when you're doing the click here, buy a house type things, is that more so geared to the better qualified buyers, or like would it be okay for somebody who isn't very financially able, I guess?
I don't know if there's any specific trends on that. I would say that generally speaking, it's not as easy as the marketing makes you feel like it is. That's the first point. And the second point is this is I don't mean this to sound controversial, but the people who are in that type of financial predicament, they tend to be the ones that the dishonest people pry on, right? So it's like, let's say somebody doesn't have a lot of down payment, or they have some credit challenges, or, you know, they are, not represented, right? They're kind of just out there ready for somebody to take advantage of, right? Unfortunately, they fall for a lot of that stuff, right? And that's why I think that that line about, hey, there's a lot of information and a lot of misinformation out there. And it's my commitment that I get a chance to educate and protect every single person in the community that I get the honor to work with, right? So please understand, there are probably more dishonest credit repair systems out there than honest ones. I don't want you to make that mistake. There are probably more sleazy, like down payment assistance things than non-sleazy down payment assistance things. And I don't want you to make that mistake. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
So,
Like,
go ahead.
I want to be able to, for the people who are renting, and like the thing that's keeping them from buying is just simply the credit. Like, they could financially handle it, but their credit shows that, you know, they don't pay their bills on time or whatever the case may be. But I don't want to say, oh, well, talk to this person, and then they get scammed. And now, because we're in the reputation business, and they say, oh, well, this realtor referred me to this person and they took everything I had.
Well,
So.
my advice to that would be, don't do your own due diligence on those types of people that you're going to make recommendations to, right? So make a post that says, who I need, my client needs credit repair. Who do I need to know? And they'll say, oh, George over at Credit Repair Inc. is great. Hey, George, how you doing, sir? I want to learn a little bit more about you and your business. How do you help people? Right? You happen to have any, yeah, Kathy Vitale has recommendations for that. You know, do you have anybody that you've worked with in the past that I might be able to chat with? Hey, Joe, I hear you worked with George and he fixed your credit. Anything you can share with me about that? Oh my gosh, he was so responsive, and you know, I did this and that, and my credit score went up 60 points, and now I'm a homeowner. Beautiful. Thank you so much for your time, Joe. You know, congratulations. Hey, George. All right, I'm ready to work together.
Yeah.
I got this woman, Sarah. She needs better credit. Let's do it. You see what I'm saying? So it's about getting great partners, right? And quite honestly, like, look, buying a home is serious business. Getting a loan is serious business. If the person can't pay a cell phone bill or a light bill or something, you know, why would somebody loan them hundreds of thousands of dollars? Like, if you want to make adult type decisions, you got to behave like an adult, right? I understand there's, you know, a variety of circumstances that prevent people from, you know, doing really what they want to do. But, you know, it's kind of like when the market was terrible 10 years ago, and I was helping a lot of landlords, and we'd get people that called in for property with poor credit. You know, the question was, are you just being like brazen and not, you know, setting up systems to pay your bills on time? Or like, can you explain anything? You know, for example, like if they said, well, I just got a divorce and that's why this happened, and you know, my kids got to go to this private school and that's why that's happening, you know, then I was a lot more, you know, open to working with them when they were like, yeah, I just got bad credit. Is there any explanation for any of this? No. Okay, well, I don't really think that we're going to be a good partnership. You see what I'm saying? I mean, the woman who lives in my rental. She's been there for over 5 years. She had an aging mother that she had to take care of financially. It took a lot of her time. She had to take a lot of time off of work. She went through bankruptcy. Like, she needed a place to be, and her poor credit was the result of something that was completely understandable. And we've had a good relationship the whole way, right? So it's just I don't know, I'm kind of giving you the long-winded answer on that, but does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. Just basically work with people you know instead of, because like being new, I don't have a network. So I think,
Well, you don't have a network today.
yeah.
The question is are you committed to having a better network tomorrow? And an even better one the day after that? Like no more talking around, oh, I'm not from here, blah, 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 blah. The question is I'm not mocking you, kind of, but the question is are you committed to improving your circumstances today?
Mhm.
That was one of my reasons of not moving as fast as I should or as efficiently as I could, was because I was new here. But that's no excuse anymore.
Hell, that should be the reason why you move fast.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, I got no one to meet. I got no one to help. I better get to work.
Yeah.
I would expect it to be the opposite. Hey, I got a bunch of friends. I lived here my whole life. Oh, okay. Well, I'll just wait for some of them to call me. Versus, hey, I got no one in my database. I better go meet some strangers fast because I'm gonna be broke. Okay. I haven't grossly offended anyone today, have I? Uh-oh, you're all quiet.
No,
I said, no, you never do that.
Oh, I hope. All right, you guys, as always, I appreciate your commitment to yourselves and your families and your business. And it is a pleasure to work with you. Oh, wait, before I go, let's do one more aha. Did anyone take the class yesterday, the MREA models class?
I got to listen to the beginning of it.
Anything that
but not the whole thing.
that you want to share?
Not like specifically, but it really, it was for like the hour or whatever I got to listen to, it really helped, break it down and just understand it better. And I thought it was like just a fantastic explanation. Like I think it was recorded. No, I don't know where it is, but
it was.
But yeah, I would definitely give that a watch.
is it on the Facebook?
No, so you might have looked at the recording if you were had registered for the class, but I'll share it once I get it. But all of these what's called SES, Southeastern Educational Services videos, it's like one session per week, are on Zoom. They're totally free. Well, they're free to you. They're not free completely, but they're free to our agents. And check the calendar and put them on your calendar. The one next week is with Bob Kalinsky. That I'm going to be dead serious with you guys. There's virtually nothing more important than being in that room. Okay, nothing. You've got to be there. Okay, we're all in the business to have a great quality of life. One thing you need to have a great quality of life: money, some money management. Okay, it ain't everything, but it certainly helps. Make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Have a great day, guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome.